Hello, true believers. I am your host, Jason, and welcome to another episode of Superhero Deep Dive. Got a fun episode for you this week. And before I start, I just have to give my normal disclaimer that I always have to do, that the information that is pulled from different sources across the internet and may or may not be completely complete, but they do give a really good insight on the current superhero. So this week I am going to be talking about Moon Knight. A lot of people don't know about him, so he's obscure enough to be deserving of a deep dive, but he's also well known enough that comic book fans all have an affection for Moon Knight. So yeah, I'm really excited about it, and I even have permission from a group you may have heard of called the Gothsicles. They wrote a song about Moon Knight. Let me see where it is. It is called Moon Knight is Cool. So I'm actually going to get to play that in the podcast. They gave me permission. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over his information, powers, relationships, fun facts, stuff like that. And then before I get into the power expansion, I'm going to play the song. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I did get permission from the Gothsicles to do this. So thank you so much, Gothsicles. If you like the song or if it kind of catches your ear, check them out. They have a lot of songs on YouTube and Bandcamp.com that you can hear them. They're really fun. I strongly suggest checking them out. But yeah, I'm going to be talking about Moon Knight. His real name is Mark Spector. Now he's often compared to Batman. So he's, for all intents and purposes, he is Marvel's answer to Batman. He's often been compared to DC Comics Batman due to similarities between them. Like, both are millionaire entrepreneurs. They use their wealth to pay for their equipment, used by their alter ego to fight crime. They're expert detectives. They use similar gadgets. Like, Batman has his batarangs. Moon Knight has his moon rings. So, yeah, you know that's kind of a ripoff, but it's okay. There are major differences between the two. Like, Moon Knight uses multiple identities. At one point, he actually had superpowers. He later lost them, but at one point he did actually have them. Mark Spector, who is Moon Knight, was a former boxer, CIA operative, Marine, and mercenary. So he kind of went all in combat, basically. He was later betrayed by his boss, Raoul Bushman, after they got into like an archaeological dig site, and Bushman went in and he wanted to rob it. But Spector, didn't do it. So Bushman had him basically attempted to kill him, left him for dead. Spector was approached by the Egyptian moon god Khonshu that offered to help him if Spector would serve him as his avatar on Earth. So Mark Spector, the Moon Knight, is kind of like the Avatar. He's the Moonbender, basically. And I hope you guys got that joke. I hope it played well. But yeah, so he's a Moonbender. With this, he used his money from his mercenary stuff to become, to go and funnel it back home to be the millionaire. And he created multiple identities like millionaire Stephen Grant and taxi driver Jake Lockley. The millionaire was to be like the philanthropist, the entrepreneur, to keep building his money and to gain influence. The Jake Lockley character, the cab driver, was mainly set there to be kind of like keep his ear to the ground, to get inside information from people on things that are going down, because a lot of times, and I'm sure we realize this with, and if you don't, listen or pay attention to what you do when you're in the back of an Uber or a Lyft, or a taxi, if that's what you do. You'll have conversations, you'll talk on your phone, you'll do stuff that you treat the driver like he doesn't exist. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. This is not one of those kind of shows. I'm not making fun of Lyft drivers or Uber drivers or taxi drivers. but they're providing a service, and usually people are in their own worlds and they're having conversations, whether it's on the phone or with each other, and they say things that the driver's over here, and you have no idea because it never even occurs to you. I mean, it's almost like they don't exist, that you're just getting from one place to another. And, he's taking advantage of that, which is pretty smart. At one point, Moon Knight, he has this really cool kind of like white armored costume with a hood, and the face is like got a black, it's like a tight hood on him, like kind of like Spider-Man-esque, but it's just all black, and the eyes are small, but it's very form-fitting. And then he's got a actual hood with like attached to his cape that's white, so you don't see his face. But at one point he had like a white suit, and he looked kind of like a crime boss kind of thing. I don't know about that, and I'm not covering that because that kind of happened. It was introduced, and this is as far as I'm getting into that part. Let's say he had hallucinated all of his Moon Knight adventures, and there was a mini series based on that. So we're gonna let that go with that. I may circle around back to something resembling that, but I'm not going into those years because that's not the Moon Knight that had been established. Like in the 90s, in the late 90s, Batman broke his back and he had a replacement, and that Batman wore like this giant suit of armor kind of thing that was super extreme for the 90s. But no one talks about that, even though it is part of Batman history. No one talks about it because it's not what people recognize. So that's what I'm sticking with. I'm sticking with the classic Moon Knights. Okay? So, but that's his basic information. His powers, he's an expert detective. He's got martial arts skills, especially with him being a boxer, Marine, CIA operative, mercenary. He has learned to take care of himself in almost any kind of situation. When he had the Khonshu powers, when he had his moon-bending powers, oh my gosh, he's like a mix of Sailor Moon and Avatar the Moonbender. He fights for justice under moonlight. Winning love by daylight. I don't know. But when he had his Khonshu powers, he had increased strength, speed, and endurance. And it wasn't like, it was kind of like Captain America type thing. Like he was stronger than normal. He was faster than normal, but you wouldn't say he was super strong or something like that, super speed. He wasn't like that. He was just faster than what a normal person would be. But all that depended on the phase of the moon, which is pretty kind of funny to me. And instead of the Batwing jet, he had like the moon jet. It looked like a crescent moon. It was pretty cool looking. Relationships, he had a girlfriend and wife named Marlene Alron. I'm probably mispronouncing that, and I'm sorry. Sorry, Marlene. I don't mean to offend. Or anyone with that last name. It's Alraune. Alron? I don't know. But he also had a pilot sidekick named Frenchie, which is awesome. Can you imagine like the adventures of Moon Knight and Frenchie? So yeah, that happened. Let's see here. Fun facts. In 2022, he is actually going to have he is scheduled to have a Disney Plus series. So let's hope that stays with it. I have not looked into any of the premises of the Disney Plus series. I just want to put that out there. He has appeared in Spider-Man the Animated Series, Ultimate Spider-Man, and Avengers Assemble as kind of like background or supporting characters. He's also been in a ton of video games. There's a lot of them. I'm going to name a bunch, but there's still more out there. He's been in video games, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Spider-Man Web of Shadows, Marvel Pinball, Marvel Avengers Alliance, Marvel Heroes, Lego Marvel Superheroes, I believe 1 and 2, Marvel Avengers Academy, Marvel Future Fight, Marvel Strike Force, Marvel Contest of Champions, and more. Whew. He's got a cool design. He's got a really cool design. So it makes sense to have him in there. And that's the basic information I have for him. So as you can see, like he's got a kind of a funny past. Like there's an iconic comic book cover of him that's got like all these different personalities. It shows taxi driver, shows a Marine, and it shows the millionaire playboy with women at his side and stuff, and then it has Moon Knight in the middle, and it's because he's all of these people, and that's always kind of made him unique, because the heroes that know him and know about him, no one knows exactly what's going on with him. Like, you can never be fully sure, and that's kind of exciting, because he's a bit unstable, so you just never know what you're going to get. But yeah, what do you guys think about him? Did I miss anything? Did I miss anything important? I don't want to say did I miss anything, because I know I did. Because he's got this huge history with it, but it all seems a little bit repetitive. So did I miss anything important? Let me know. You can please feel free to reach out to me. My email is b4itall@yahoo.com. You can reach me on Twitter at b4itall1, and make sure you use the hashtag superherodeepdive. I've also started putting all my episodes up on YouTube, so just look up Superhero Deep Dive and you'll see them. And all it is the podcast episodes, like the recordings, and then I will take various artwork that I found online of the characters. I don't crop them or anything, so if they're labeled with the artist, they stay on there, because I didn't design any of that. I just basically make a giant slideshow of it, so you can kind of get images to go along with the information that you're getting. But yeah, like I said, I did get permission from the Gothsicles. I have a good friend that reached out to them on my behalf, and because he knows them, so he was a friend of a friend. Or the Gothsicles are friend of a friend. My friend is my friend, but he's actually really good friends, like close friends with the Gothsicles. So let me see here. If you hear clicking, that is me doing it. So I'm going to go to, let's see, insert file, current. Oh, okay. Stop recording.
means to please the moonkind.
At times, he could be both personalities. Carry on conversation. Both personalities. Both personalities. Both personalities. Living bad lives, every lunar eclipse. Covered in corporate blood and werewolf drool. Only where the pistol touch you.
Okay, that was pretty awesome. So, yeah, that was the Gothsicles singing Moon Knight is cool. I really enjoyed that. I definitely recommend checking them out on YouTube and bandcamp.com, I believe it is. They have stuff everywhere, so check them out. You won't regret it. Okay, now here comes the part of the podcast. My absolute favorite thing is the power expansion. This is where I take the hero and I try to put him in scenarios that I would love to see him in, whether it is movies, TV shows, comic book series, whatever it is, you know, and this one is no different. I was actually talking to my good friend Cyrnix, and he's the one that referred me to got me in touch with the Gothsicles and got permission to use the song. And we were talking about the excitement because he's like me. He loves looking at the Easter eggs for things, and we are just trying to figure out how the Egyptian Ankh that brings Khonshu up will fit in, or if it fits in. You know, if they change him, what do they do? But you know, like, how does this going to fit in? So we came up with a really good idea for a series. Now, like I said before at the beginning of the podcast, this has no bearing. Like, we have not looked at the current plans. Like, if there's any plans that have been leaked out for the Moon Knight series, any kind of premise, we have not looked at that. So if all we're giving is stuff that mirrors it, it is purely coincidental. You know, we haven't looked deep in it, and if anything that we say, like, kind of corresponds to, like, say, we haven't gotten into the Suit series, you know, of Moon Knight, if it corresponds with stuff that was in that, we don't know. We don't know. It's purely coincidental. So, you know, so that's what we're doing. But I love the fact that they're gonna do a series. I can't see Moon Knight in necessarily a standalone movie. I can see him being part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but he needs a series. He needs a series, and maybe a couple seasons worth. But like, so we should have the different episodes cover different parts of his personality. Like, we can have an episode of 2 of him purely as the taxi driver. Couple episodes purely as the millionaire, purely as the Marine, you know, stuff like that. And he of course he turns into Moon Knight at the end. He's fighting crimes and stuff, but CIA operatives, whatever. And in the background, let there be like news reports or headlines about certain criminal events, like a rise in criminal activity. Something was stolen, some kind of things, but they all have some kind of theme that is just hinted at, but you just hear it in the background, or you see like them looking in a newspaper and it's on there, or a headline in the news on TV or something. Just stuff in the background. Um, and we have Mark Spector, do his Moon Knight thing, trying to stop various crimes and work his way up to some of the connecting things that are linking everything together. And as he gets closer to that source, the battles get more and more intense and dangerous. So we're building that up. Almost like how Luke Cage was, or Daredevil. They slowly start building up. Things get a little bit more involved. Things get a little bit more deadly. He's got to make tougher decisions. Stuff like this, all while keeping his personas intact. And see, this is kind of where we're going to start turning it a little bit to differentiate it from all those other street level shows. And I call it street level shows because that's kind of what basically it is. I mean, if you look at it, even Batman has his he has his rogues gallery, but for the most part, he's a street level superhero. He's done big things, but for the most part, he's a rich guy. He's a man that does street level things. That's why he focuses on Gotham. So we're gonna have Moon Knight do the same thing. It's mainly street level, but with him playing all these different characters and personalities, he's gonna find times where it's difficult to keep everything separate. Like he may be having a conversation with someone as the millionaire persona. And then he may end up saying something while he's driving a taxi that he really didn't have any business saying, where things get a little bit crossed. So, he's going to have a hard time sorting through all that because, you can only be so many different kinds of characters before, you start getting caught in the lie. So I want to see him start struggling with that. And one of the things with it too is as he plays these different characters, he needs to go the Superman route. And when I say that, I mean, when Superman is Superman, he stands tall, his shoulders are back, his chest is out. He is Superman. But when he is Clark Kent, he hunches over a little bit. He bends his knees slightly, in his pants to where you can't necessarily tell, but he loses an inch or two. He hunches his shoulders, he hunches his back some, he stumbles, his speech pattern is different. Like all these things he's got to do to make it so if he does run into someone he knows, like say he's driving a taxi and one of his millionaire friends comes in and looks in the mirror. He may look familiar, but he's not going to look like Mark Spector. He's not going to look like the actual millionaire because of his mannerisms and the way he speaks and stuff like that. He's got to play a whole different person. But with all that is that where that knowledge kind of intersects, he's got to be careful with that. So I'd love to see him kind of trying to keep all that in line because it just plays to the unstableness of it. Let's see here. And that kind of builds in him too, where he knows things, from one thing to another, from one character to another. And, so maybe he hears someone in his cab talking about, robbing this place and he knows that millionaire guy. So he's trying to drop hints to the millionaire guy to, up security over here, or just be careful, for this one area so he doesn't get robbed. He's playing all these different characters and he's using that information and it's starting to catch up with him. So we have that. So we have all this inner turmoil building up in him. We have it showing, conflicts between maybe his friends or the people around him, like his environment. We show him trying to figure out these crimes and what's kind of connecting them and why they're connected, and why hasn't he taken out the big guy yet? Like what's going on? Like he's working his way up. How big is this ladder that he's got to climb? And then the first season finale goes like this. Now you gotta bear with me on this. Let's say Moon Knight finally catches up to the main villain. He busts through the office door. Like he comes in, he's ready for that last fight. He's gotten all the henchmen down. Busts through the door. As soon as he kicks in the door, like there's a trap for him. Shotgun shoots him in the head. But it doesn't kill him. It's not like a normal shotgun. It is like a buckshot shotgun, so and there's no one in the office. Like it's just this all these pellets basically come at him, tears his mask off, or not fully, but like half off. Okay, so it just rips off half of his mask, and behind the gun, there's nothing there but a mirrored wall. So the guy was never there. The big bad guy was never there. It was just this trap. But the camera does a close-up of him looking at his reflection on that mirrored wall. It's half Mark Spector and half Moon Knight. So let's. This is where we take the turn. Let's Fight Club this bitch. Let's take this. Let's have him. Let's have it to where he's actually playing all these different characters. He now has a split personality that he doesn't know about. And that's the villain. That's the big bad guy. It's the different personality he doesn't realize. Moon Knight is always one step behind the villain because he actually is the villain. And I'm sorry if you guys hear tapping. My dog just busted into my office and he's kind of a pain. But yeah, so we're gonna say Moon Knight's the actual villain. And season 2, if he just looks at it, the series ends with him like looking at his own face, basically. And season 2 could show him starting to piece everything together. Like slowly but surely, like outside people are recognizing him. There are clues being dropped here and there that start to connect him to the actual crimes. Where he ultimately has to find a way to defeat the dark side of himself and prevail. And I'm saying this because Moon Knight has always been that unstable character. He's always had that thing, but where he's got multiple personalities, but he's always been in control of it. It's not like the personalities are independent. But this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Not everything follows the comic books. They do a really good job of keeping it close to it, but not everything follows. So let's keep that going. Let's keep that line going, and have him like just expand on it just a little bit. He's got a evil persona that is him, and the evil persona, because it's separate, he can know all the stuff that's going on, but the original doesn't know that there's a bad side. So what do you guys think? Does that sound doable? Would it be awesome to have that? Could that be something that maybe they take? Marvel, Disney Plus, whatever. If you guys are listening to this, take it. Take that idea because I think it would be awesome. I don't even need a credit. Just do #superherodeepdive. That's all I ask. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Like I said, use #superherodeepdive on your social media. You can reach me on Twitter at b4itall1 or email me at b4itall@yahoo.com. I will be back next week with a brand new Superhero Deep Dive. I'm hoping to have this up on YouTube soon, so if you are actually watching this on YouTube, Hello, YouTube. Still use Superhero Deep Dive. Comment, like, subscribe, whatever you need to do, share it. But yeah, everyone have fun. Be safe, be blessed, be smart. And if you're not smart, don't get caught. And I will talk to you guys later. All right, peace out. Bye-bye, homies.